What if I told you that one of the most feared foods in your kitchen is actually one of the most powerful healing foods on the planet? And that the advice you've been following about eggs for the last 30 years was built on science that was completely, embarrassingly wrong? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you are going to rethink everything you thought you knew about eggs. And I promise you, point number 5 is going to genuinely shock you. Here is a question almost everyone gets wrong. How many eggs can you safely eat every single day? Ask 10 different people, and you will get 10 different answers. 1 egg, 2 eggs, none. Avoid the yolk, eat only the white. It is chaos out there, and that confusion is not your fault. It comes from decades of flawed research, misleading headlines, and nutrition advice that was never actually based on solid science. Today, I am going to fix that. We are going through 7 things you need to know about eggs, your cholesterol, your heart, your brain, and your body. And I want you to stay until point number 6, because what I am about to tell you about the way most people cook eggs is silently undoing every benefit they think they are getting. Let us get into it. Point 1. The studies that got it all wrong. Let's start at the beginning, because you cannot understand the egg debate without understanding why it started. Back in the 1960s, 70s, and 80s, researchers began linking cholesterol to heart disease. Eggs contain cholesterol, so the logic went, eggs must be dangerous. Cut them out, limit them, fear them. But here is the critical problem those studies almost never mention. The researchers were not studying people who ate eggs alone. They were studying people who ate eggs alongside bacon, white toast, processed orange juice, margarine, and refined oils. The entire breakfast was labeled an egg meal. Eggs were found guilty by association, not by evidence. Modern research is completely different. Today's studies are more controlled, more precise, and far more honest. And the conclusion is becoming impossible to ignore. For most healthy people, eating eggs every day is not just safe. It may actually be one of the smartest nutritional choices you can make. But before we go any further, I need to address something most people never think about when they reach for that carton at the grocery store. Point 2. The label deception. In the egg aisle, walk into any supermarket and you will see a wall of options. Cage-free, free-range, vegetarian-fed, natural, omega-3 enriched, organic. Most people assume those labels mean the eggs are higher quality. Most people are wrong. Cage-free simply means the hens are not in individual cages. They can still be packed by the thousands inside a dark, overcrowded warehouse with no access to sunlight or grass. Free-range sounds beautiful until you learn. The legal requirement is merely access to the outdoors. That outdoor space could legally be a tiny concrete patch, used by less than 1% of the flock. And here is one that surprises almost everyone. Vegetarian-fed sounds healthy, but chickens are not vegetarians. They naturally eat insects, worms, beetles, and larvae. A vegetarian-fed hen is eating an unnatural diet of soy and corn, which directly affects the nutritional profile of the eggs she produces. So what should you actually look for? 2 words: pasture-raised, and if possible, organic alongside it. A pasture-raised hen roams on real grass, eats her natural diet, and produces an egg that is genuinely different. At a nutritional level, higher vitamin A, higher vitamin E, more omega-3 fatty acids, more choline, more zinc and selenium, more lutein and zeaxanthin for your eyes. Even natural vitamin K2, which most people are severely deficient in. A pasture-raised egg and a standard supermarket egg are almost entirely different foods. Choosing the right one matters more than almost anything else we will talk about today. Point 3. What is actually inside an egg? Let me paint a picture for you. In one single egg, your body receives complete, high-quality protein containing all essential amino acids. It receives healthy fats. It receives choline, which is critical for memory, focus, mood regulation, and liver function. It receives lutein and zeaxanthin, 2 antioxidants that protect your eyes against age-related degeneration. It receives fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K2. It receives B vitamins that support your metabolism and nervous system. And it receives minerals including selenium and zinc, which your immune system and hormone production depend on. Here is the part that most people never hear. The nutrients in eggs are not just present, they are bioavailable, meaning your body absorbs and uses them at an unusually high rate compared to most foods. You are not just eating nutrients, you are actually absorbing them. And choline deserves its own moment here. Research estimates that close to 90% of people in Western countries do not consume enough choline. It is a nutrient so critical to brain function that a deficiency has been linked to memory decline, fatty liver disease, and mood disorders. Eggs are one of the single richest natural sources of choline that exist. 2 eggs can provide more than half your daily requirement in one sitting. Now here is where things get serious, and I want you to pay close attention to this next part. Point 4. The great cholesterol leap. For decades, this was the argument. Eggs contain dietary cholesterol. Dietary cholesterol raises blood cholesterol. High blood cholesterol causes heart attacks. Therefore, eggs cause heart attacks. It sounds logical. It is almost entirely wrong. Here is what your body actually does. Your liver produces approximately 3,000 milligrams of cholesterol every single day. Because cholesterol is not a poison, it is a raw material. Your body uses it to build every cell membrane in your entire body. It uses it to produce vitamin D. It uses it to manufacture sex hormones like testosterone and estrogen. It uses it to create bile acids for digestion. Without adequate cholesterol, your brain begins to deteriorate, your hormones become imbalanced, and your cells cannot repair themselves. Now here is the shocking part. When you eat dietary cholesterol, your liver responds by producing less of its own. When you eat less cholesterol, your liver produces more. It is a self-regulating feedback system. For the majority of people, dietary cholesterol from eggs has almost no meaningful impact on blood cholesterol levels, according to research. What actually drives dangerous LDL patterns is not eggs. It is sugar, refined carbohydrates, chronic inflammation, oxidized vegetable oils, and prolonged stress. These are the real criminals. Eggs were never on the wanted list. Blaming eggs for high cholesterol is like blaming firefighters for setting the fire. They were there to repair the damage, not cause it. Point 5. How many eggs can you actually eat? This is the question everyone came here for. And the answer is more generous than you have probably been told. For a generally healthy adult with no specific metabolic conditions, the research consistently supports 2 to 3 eggs per day as a safe, beneficial baseline. Many studies show no increase in cardiovascular risk up to this amount, even in people who already have elevated cholesterol. For athletes and physically active people, the equation shifts considerably. Your muscles are in a constant cycle of breakdown and repair. 3 to 5 eggs per day can serve as a highly bioavailable protein source to fuel that recovery. Some athletes go higher and do so without any negative blood markers for older adults. This is critically important after the age of 50. A condition called sarcopenia begins to accelerate. That is the progressive loss of muscle mass that leads to weakness, falls, fractures, and loss of independence. Eggs provide some of the highest quality protein available for fighting sarcopenia, and 2 to 3 per day is one of the most practical, affordable, and effective nutritional strategies an older person can adopt. For people managing type 2 diabetes or insulin resistance, eggs are close to ideal. They contain virtually zero carbohydrates. They do not raise blood sugar. They promote satiety for hours. 2 per day is an excellent starting point, and 3 is well within safe range when the rest of the diet is low in refined carbohydrates. For people with high cholesterol, the question is more nuanced, but the action that matters most is not reducing eggs. It is eliminating sugar, seed oils, and ultra-processed foods that create the arterial inflammation cholesterol is trying to repair. 1 to 2 eggs per day as a cautious start is reasonable, with regular monitoring. Now, I want to pause here, because this next point is something almost nobody talks about, and it may be the most practically important thing in this entire video. Point 6. The way you cook eggs is quietly destroying their benefits. You can buy the most expensive pasture-raised organic eggs on the market. You can eat the perfect number every day, and you can silently undo most of the benefit based entirely on how you cook them. High heat is the enemy of egg nutrition. When you cook eggs at very high temperatures, particularly when you brown or crisp the whites or cook the yolk until it turns gray and crumbly, you are doing to damaging things. You are oxidizing the cholesterol within the egg, which transforms it from a neutral repair molecule into a potentially inflammatory compound. And you are degrading the delicate fats and fat-soluble vitamins that make eggs so valuable in the first place. The healthiest preparations are soft-boiled, poached, over easy, or scrambled gently on low heat with butter or a small amount of olive oil. The yolk should be soft and golden, not fully set and dry. That soft yolk is where the majority of the nutrition lives. Cooking it hard repeatedly, especially in refined vegetable oils, changes the chemistry of what you are eating. And here is something almost no one considers. Reheating eggs, particularly scrambled eggs made hours earlier and microwaved, further degrades the fats and can increase histamine content. which is particularly problematic for people who already experience food sensitivities. Cook fresh, cook low, keep the yolk alive. It sounds simple, but most people are doing the opposite every single morning without realizing the cost. Point 7. Who actually needs to be careful? Everything we have discussed today applies to the majority of people, but there are specific situations where more caution is genuinely warranted, and I want to be honest about that. If you have a confirmed egg allergy, none of this applies. An allergic response is a real immune reaction, and eggs need to be avoided accordingly. If you have been diagnosed with familial hypercholesterolemia, a rare but real genetic condition where the body cannot regulate cholesterol normally, you should be working with a physician who understands your specific lipid profile before increasing egg consumption. If you have had your gallbladder removed or have known fat digestion issues, starting with 1 egg per day and building slowly is the sensible approach, since eggs do require adequate bile for proper fat absorption. And if you are sensitive to histamines, always cook eggs fresh and avoid reheating them. As older cook, eggs accumulate higher histamine levels. For everyone else, eggs are not something to fear. They are something to embrace intelligently with attention to quality, preparation, and the overall diet surrounding them. Here is the bottom line. Eggs are not the problem. For most people, they are one of the most nutrient-dense, affordable, and metabolically beneficial foods available. The fear was built on bad science. The confusion was created by misleading labels and outdated headlines. And now you have the real information. Tell me in the comments right now, how many eggs do you eat each day? And tell me where you are watching from. I genuinely read these, and your answer might surprise the people reading alongside you. If this video gave you something useful, press the like button. It takes 2 seconds and it helps this information reach more people who need it. And if you want the science-backed truth about health and nutrition without the noise, subscribe right now, because that is exactly what this channel is built for. Do not ignore this if you care about your health. The habits you build this week compound into the health you experience 10 years from now. Next, watch the video on your screen right now, where I walk you through exactly what happens inside your body when you eat eggs every single day. The changes to your brain, your metabolism, and your hormones are things most people have never been told. I will see you there. Sonnet for point 6.